Welcome back to Motor Archery. Frequently asked questions. Many people ask me on the YouTube channel or on the range, oh, you never use an arm guard. Why? Don't you use one? Don't you get a bruise? My answer? No, I don't use one, and no, I don't get a bruise. Why is that? First of all, I will put a link down there in the description about the 3 bows in your body. When you care about these 3 bows in the Mediterranean way of shooting, let's say, look only at my arm. See? There's still a distance between the string and me. Why is it? When I stand like this, I lean slightly forward, I make my second bow in the spine, and my third bow is here. That means shoulder is down, this elbow is relaxed and slightly out. And now look at this. When I throw, 3 fingers and let go, I have here still 1 to 2 fingers between the string and my arm. That's why I don't need an arm guard. You will need one when you either shoot English longbow, because the brace height of an English longbow is, let's say, round about 6 inches. And then what will happen is, because the string is way more forward, that when you shoot, the string will slap you here on the wrist. I don't have an English longbow, so I can't show you. This will happen. That's why for an English longbow you want to wear an arm guard. Or when you shoot another shooting style, like this system shooting, where you stand completely straight, your arm is completely straight. Look at this. When I stand like this, my string is already touching here, and of course when I shoot, I will get a bruise. That's why Olympic archers have always an arm guard until here, and sometimes the lady archers even until here, because they stand like this. Everything is here, so to say, in one line, and of course this arm is in the way. So in my way of traditional shooting, I don't stand straight, because standing straight is not the most stable posture. So you know, the bows in your legs, the bows in your spine. When you come forward, again Mediterranean shooting, everything is straight, distance. So now you can say, yes, but in Chinese archery the elbow is not pointing outwards, it's pointing down. That's true. I shoot now the Chinese way. Elbow is straight, you see, my arm is not bent. Still, the string doesn't touch my arm when I stand properly. Of course, one mistake people do is they stand like this. Of course, when you shoot like this, bam, you will hit yourself here. The next mistake, people stand like this, and then they look at the shoulder, they roll the shoulder in, like with a gun. And then of course the whole arm is in the way, as you can see here already. I roll my shoulder in, I want to shoot. Of course I can even scratch already my upper arm, my elbow and my lower arm. So that's why, shoulder down in the socket, then this is not a problem. The other mistake people do is holding the bow wrong, or not wrong, but maybe not that efficient, and they hold the bow deeper in their palm as it's meant to be, and then they have, you see this angle here, and of course when you shoot like this, you see it already, string is touching already my arm. When I shoot like this, I can even lean forward outwards, I will shoot my arm. Zzz. Make your wrist straight. The bow is only here, and the root of your thumb straight. Straight wrist, arm is out, no problem. See it sideways or from above. Straight wrist, no problem. This, big problem. So simply keep it straight. And keep your shoulder down. And don't have an arc in your spine. Pull slightly forward. And we don't do that, Olympic archers do it. They have this arm, the bow completely upright. We always have the bow slightly tilted in the same way as our face. See, no problem when I shoot. Still enough distance between my arm and the string. So I don't get a bruise. It can happen when I shoot a bow which I don't know the first time and I don't pay attention enough, then it can happen. And in Chinese literature they say when the handle is very small, it can happen that you shoot your arm. This handle is for me quite small. Again, nothing. So, conclusion, arm guard yes or no. For horse bows, recurve bows, which have a brace height of 7.5 plus inches, in my opinion, you don't need an arm guard when you shoot properly. With an English longbow, you will always need an arm guard because the string will always slap you here in front of the wrist, not there. When you avoid the mistakes I already mentioned, that you don't arc back, that you don't have this arm completely straight in Mediterranean shooting, that you simply relax your shoulder, turn the elbow slightly out, and you don't roll the shoulder inwards and hunch it up, and you have the wrist straight and not in an angle. Nothing ever will happen. Of course, when you like arm guards because they look fancy and they suit your dress, go for it. But technically, in the way I teach, you will never use or will never need an arm guard. And as you see in all the photos from my students, most of them don't use an arm guard. I have a few, they simply like to have this arm a bit more straight. Maybe because they already went for a bow which is a little too heavy for them. And then they avoid getting a hit there. In my personal opinion, when you put an arm guard on too early, you only develop a bad shooting style regarding to my teaching, because then you don't feel if you hit your arm because you hit this thick leather, and you get a bad habit in wrong posture. That's why I always get the posture first right, make sure that you know what you do. YouTube is nice, but YouTube is not a dojo. Sometimes you need someone with experience who can give you these small corrections which you by yourself will maybe not see even when you look at yourself in the mirror. And first you do everything right, and at the end you do this and you don't even recognize it. And you shoot and you think, oh, I hit myself again, but I stood like this. But the last movement was then sort of wrong. We have this often. It doesn't work. Sometimes you simply need someone who has a look and can check what you do. So, in my opinion, for me personally, I don't use an arm guard because I don't need an arm guard. Thank you very much. If you have more questions about this topic, down there in the comment box you can ask. Next topic will be thumb ring or not thumb ring. That's the question. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.